So I may start, right?
Yes, let's go ahead and start it. So again, thank you, Dr. Misquita, for being here, and thank you for everybody that's joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Gladys, for organizing this despite your whole week of holidays. And thank you all students for making the time to attend this brief presentation. I'm Vannita Misquita. I'm the Director of Overseas Programs at Illinois Institute of Technology. The university is located in the city of Chicago. And as you may know, Chicago is the third largest city in the United States after New York and Los Angeles. The picture you see here in front, in the foreground, is the picture of the campus of Illinois Tech. On the side, you see some railway lines, and we have 2 metro stations on our campus, which take you to the downtown area where you see all of these skyscrapers in about 7 minutes. These buildings here in the foreground correspond to different departments at Illinois Tech. And on the right-hand side, across from the rail lines, are residence halls for the students if you wish to live in on-campus housing. In terms of our location, as you know, we're in Chicago, and we also have the good fortune of having one of the 5 Great Lakes within a 20-minute walk from our university, Lake Michigan. It's got 35 miles of lakefront, so students can skateboard, can walk, can bike, can run, can do anything. 35 miles of lakefront, so it's a very enjoyable city, and it's very flat. Illinois also, it's in the state of Illinois, which is flat. This next slide talks about the city in a little bit in detail. The slide is entitled "The City Illinois Tech Built." We did not build the city, but we contributed to much of the skyline of the city of Chicago because we have a world-famous College of Architecture, and our campus is a landmark campus. It was designed by a famous architect, Mies van der Rohe, and Mies van der Rohe was the chairperson of the College of Architecture for more than 20 years at the time. Chicago has many restaurants. It's a vibrant city and is also #1 in the US for manufacturing and nanotechnology. The slide here shows the picture of the Student Center. The Student Center is the center just for you students when you do decide to study at Illinois Tech. And above the Student Center, you see this tube because when the train passed over the Student Center, it made a lot of noise. So there was an international competition to try and solve this problem of the noise of the train. And one of the world famous architects, Rem Koolhaas from Holland, came up with this idea of encapsulating part of the rail lines, which is above the student center, to muffle the sound so that when the train passed, students could still continue their conversation without being interrupted by the train. Right now, it is fall season, autumn, where the leaves change from red to gold. We also have a winter, quite harsh. It can be quite harsh. And usually we get quite a bit of snow. Snow starts depending on the climate, but usually sometime at the end of November, December, and January and February can be quite cold with also a wind chill factor. Many of our students, I won't say many, but some of our students who come from countries where they've never seen snow have managed to get used to our winter. So I think you can also survive the winter. What's the organization of our university? Illinois Tech has 8 colleges. We have a College of Engineering, College of Law, Architecture, Computing, Science, and Business. What is important for you to know is the departments. What are the departments within each college? because when you apply for a bachelor's or a master's degree program, you have to look at the department that's of interest, because each department offers its own bachelor's, master's, and PhD degree programs. For example, if you're interested in engineering, so under the Armour College of Engineering, we have the Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering. We have the Department of Civil, Architectural, and Environmental Engineering. Then we have the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, the Department of Biomedical Engineering, and the Department of Mechanical, Materials, and Aerospace Engineering. So all the engineering departments come under the Armour College of Engineering. If you're interested in computer science, you'd go to the Department of Computer Science, which is under the College of Computing. Or if you're interested in the Department of Applied Mathematics, or Information Technology and Management, or Industrial Technology and Operations, which is the department that interests a lot of our Spanish students who are from the different industrial schools of engineering in Spain. If you're interested in business, then you would look at the master degree programs offered by the Stewart School of Business. If you're interested in architecture, of course, you go to the College of Architecture. Our bachelor's and master degree programs and doctoral degree programs all have a certain number of credit hours. And you're familiar with the US credit hour. 1 credit hour is 1 contact hour of lectures a week with a professor. Usually, most of our courses are worth 3 credit hours. So once a week for 3 hours, you would attend a lecture on a certain course. If you're familiar with the European credit transfer system, simply put, 1 US credit is equivalent to 2 ECTS credits. Our master degree programs vary in terms of number of credit hours from 30, 32, 33. Bachelor degree programs can be 124, 128, depending on the typical bachelor's degree program. We are the only tech-focused university in Chicago, and we also have access to 2 world-famous laboratories, which are located in the Chicagoland area. Argonne National Laboratory is funded by the United States federal government, and Fermilab is the 2nd largest laboratory in particle physics after CERN in Switzerland. So it's the 2nd largest lab in particle physics in the world. Why do I mention these 2 laboratories? It's because some of our professors are part of some of the research teams in both of these laboratories. And if students are studying with those professors, they also would have access to those, to working with those research teams, and also the equipment provided in these laboratories. What is important for you to know is that if you decide to pursue any type of degree, a bachelor's, master's, or PhD degree in the United States at any university, the visa type is called the F1 student visa. Why do I mention this visa type? It's because after you receive your degree, whether you get your bachelor's or master's or PhD from any US university, you are eligible to work for 12 months after you graduate anywhere in the United States. However, the work must be related to your field of study. So what do I mean by field of study? For example, if you're interested in computer engineering, and if you obtained a bachelor's degree in computer engineering or a master's or a PhD in computer engineering, that's your field of study. So with the F1 student visa, when you graduate from any US university, you're eligible to work in that field of study anywhere in the United States. The average salary is about $65,000 a year. That's important for you. Furthermore, if your field of study is STEM, STEM is the acronym for science, technology, engineering, and math. So if your field is STEM, that means it has engineering in it, or maths, or science, or technology, you can work for an additional 2 years anywhere in the United States. There's no other country in the world that allows international students coming for studies to work for 12 months and then 2 years extra if their field is STEM related. So all in all, you have the possibility to work up to 3 years in your field of study anywhere in the United States. And the average salary, as I said earlier, is about $65,000. So if you go into computer science, obviously it would be a little bit higher, maybe civil engineering, maybe 55,000, but the average salary annual is about 65,000. That's important for you to know when you're thinking of where you want to study, what degree you want to get, and where, because the work option is critical for you, especially if you're choosing to study in countries where you do have to pay fees, and the fees can be quite high. Illinois Tech is a private university. Private universities in the States are very selective. What do I mean by selective? It means that not anybody can get admitted into a private university in the States. You have to be really good. In contrast, public universities in the States, there are some selective, some are not so selective, some are moderately selective. But all private universities are very selective, and because they're selective, they are smaller in size. So Illinois Tech is also a private university, very selective. Unlike in some countries where the perception is that private universities, you just have to have the money, and even if you're not good, you can get into it. It's not the case in the United States. In the United States, it's just the opposite. Private universities are not easy to get admitted into.
Illinois, we might want to clarify that they're private, non-for-profit also.
Yeah, they're also private, non-for-profit, and Illinois Tech is non-for-profit university. Thank you, Gladys. We are a member of the Association of Independent Technological Universities, and this comprises a consortium of 23 private colleges and universities in the States. Illinois Tech was one of the first 15 founding members. Other private universities that are part of this association are MIT, that you may know of, you may have heard of, California Institute of Technology, Carnegie Mellon, to mention a few. In terms of our size, we are a small university. We have more students at the graduate level. Graduate means master's and/or PhD. If a US university has more graduate students than undergraduate students, it means two things. One, we have more master's and PhD programs. And so if a university has more master's and PhD programs, it means that we have more research possibilities available. So that's important for those of you who want a career in an advanced career and who also are thinking of research. So we have more graduate students than undergraduate bachelor students. Career placement rate means that 90.5% of our students who graduate find jobs in their field of study. So it's a very high placement rate. In terms of rankings and recognitions, you see the picture on the side. That's a picture of our College of Architecture. It's a landmark campus. It's the Crown Hall, and Yearly, we receive visits from schools, architecture schools and architects worldwide who would like to check out our campus and see the construction of the campus, because it's a landmark campus. We are number 22 in the nation for finance per the Financial Times for our program in finance. We have a law school, as I mentioned to you earlier. Please note that in the United States, if you're interested in going into law, you can have a bachelor's, or you can get a bachelor's degree in any field of study. It is not, bachelor's degrees are not in law. The bachelor's degree could be in music, it could be in physics, and then you may decide to get a master's and LLM degree in law or a Juris Doctorate in law. So that's a difference in terms of law degrees in the States. We also referred to as a best value national university and among the top 25 STEMs. Again, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. Rankings are fine, but rankings, as you know, are subjective, and all universities use rankings that make them look favorable. However, I think what's more important is to look at whether our students who graduate really do something substantial and help to change the world. So I prefer looking at our alumni to see how good the university is. For example, all of you use a cell phone, and if you don't know who invented the cell phone was invented by an Illinois Tech student, Marty Cooper, and he made the first cell phone call with that cell phone that weighed more than a kilo in 1973. He's still alive and does visit the campus and offers some lectures. So again, when you use your cell phone, you should think of Illinois Tech, because the inventor was an Illinois Tech student. So that beats all the rankings, in my opinion. Again, if you like or you dislike Alexa, Amazon's Alexa, the head scientist behind the creation of Amazon's Alexa was also an Illinois Tech student, Rohit Prasad, who received his master's in electrical engineering from Illinois Tech. Some other alumni, you know that when you buy any product, there's the barcode. But the barcode is good, but you also need a printer for the barcode. One of the pioneers of creating the barcode printer was an Illinois Tech student, Ed Kaplan, who received his degree in mechanical engineering in 1965. We also have another alumnus, Susan Solomon, who graduated in 1977 in chemistry and who discovered the problem with the ozone layer that caused climate change. So there are lots of alumni who contributed to making the world a better place and making us aware of the problems in our world. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, he was a member of the team that developed the Pentium chip. So there are quite a few significant discoveries, inventions by Illinois Tech students. Campus life, we have more than 150 student organizations. And if there's a student organization that we don't have, you can create one. For example, there was a student from Liverpool who was interested in sword fencing. This was in the early 90s. And he asked me, said, do you have any organization in fencing club? And I said, no, but you can create one. And he created a fencing club. So again, if there's an organization that we don't have and you wish to create, you're more than welcome to create and add to our 150 plus organizations. As I'd mentioned earlier, students are permitted to live in on-campus housing. So if you're interested in a bachelor's degree at Illinois Tech, and you're applying as a freshman. That means you're going to complete high school and you want to start your first year of college or university in the States, and maybe at Illinois Tech, you are required to live in one of our on-campus housing residences, and we have 5 of them. If you are a student interested in our master's or PhD program, you are not required to live in our campus housing. You can choose to live in our residence hall, or you can live in the city, rent an apartment in the city of Chicago. The last hall, Kasich Hall, was the most one hall that was most recently renovated. And this gives you an idea of the single room in Kasich Hall. And there's a lounge room. And as you can see, the skyline of Chicago. I've provided the room net rates on the campus. Room rates, that means you can choose a single room, or you can share a room with another student. And this is this year's rate, August 2022 to May 2023. Board or meal rates means you can choose what kind of meal plan, whether you want to have meals 3 times a day, 7 days a week, or just 1 meal a day, 5 days a week. Again, that's up to you to choose. So that's why I've given you a range of the costs, because it can vary based on your choices. Athletics, we do have athletics on campus. Our mascot is a scarlet hawk. We have men's baseball, basketball, soccer. We do not have American football, and we also have women's basketball, soccer, swimming, etc. We are not a sports school, which means that our teams do not play nationally. So we don't have any sports scholarships, because when you're a sports school and if your team plays nationally, there's a lot of money coming into the university. And with that money, students can receive sports scholarships if they're good in certain sports. And we are not a sports school, so there are no sports scholarships. However, you can join in any of our sports. We play competitively, locally, and regionally. This is a picture of the student center, inside the student center, and the under part of that tube that muffles the rail lines that spans the length of the student center. You have a radio station, foosball, pool tables, breakout rooms, and computer terminals 24/7, and a post office, and a bookstore, of course. Our partners in Spain, in case you're interested in, we have lots of double degree master programs with our partner schools in Spain, Madrid, Catalonia, Valencia, Seville, Comillas, and del País Vasco. Okay. Here are the departments that I cited earlier with their websites. So if you're interested in power engineering or cybersecurity engineering, you would go to this website offered by the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. You click on programs, and then you click on whichever level you're interested in, bachelor's or master's, and then accordingly, you will see all the list of degree programs that this department offers. Similarly, for industrial technology or computer science, applied math, we also have physics, chemistry, biology, and so on. So that is up to you to take a look at. Okay. I've cited some examples. This is not the extent of our bachelor degree program. These are just a few examples just to give you an idea, like BS in cybersecurity and information technology, applied math with a master's in computer science, data science, forensic chemistry, and a lot more. So we also have biology and physics and engineering, mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, civil engineering. So these are just a few examples. Our academic calendar is 9 months. So our fall semester will start next year on August 21st. Our spring semester will start next year on January 9th. All our bachelor level students must complete what we call an IPRO program, interprofessional projects. They are required to complete 2 semesters of this program. That means dealing with real world problems. So all of our bachelor level students, even if they're going to psychology, business, engineering, science, all have to complete 2 semesters of research in parallel with their courses before they graduate. If they don't complete that research, they cannot graduate. So the iPro is very, very important, and it's an important part of the curriculum of the bachelor's program. Very few US universities require research at the bachelor's level, but we do require it. We're one of the few universities requiring research at the bachelor's level. I've got some YouTube links for you to get an idea of some of our offerings, but I could play them later. Let me go through the main stuff first. For those of you interested in biology, these are our research areas in biology: computational genomics, X-ray crystallography, and population genetics, genetic therapy. These are all very current and very cutting edge research areas offered by our Department of Biology. Now we come to the tuition and fees, which is not the most exciting of slides, but we have to talk about it. Our tuition and fees. This year, the cost per semester, just for tuition means the cost of courses. At private universities, please note that the cost for tuition is the same for all students, whether you're American or international student, the cost is the same. For public universities, the cost is different. You have resident fee and non-resident fee. Resident fee means usually if you're a resident of that state, you'll pay a lower fee. It could be $6,000, for example, for a year. If you're not a resident of the state, so for example, if you choose a state like California, and if I'm in the state of Illinois and I want to study at a public university in California, I'm considered as a non-resident. So I would pay a much higher fee, which may be 20 or 30 or 25,000 compared to a resident of California. International students, because they're international, they would pay the non-resident fee at a public university. The difference in private universities, the cost is the same for everybody, and we offer scholarships to all students, including international students. So let me give you an example. For example, this is at the bachelor's level. This is the cost, not per credit hour, sorry, this is the cost for the semester. So if you're admitted to Illinois Tech, the cost for the year would be $48,000. That's a high cost. However, all international students are eligible for partial merit scholarship that varies from $10,000 to $20,000 for the year. So if you receive a $20,000 scholarship, it reduces your cost of tuition by $20,000. Mandatory and other fees are additional, that is the use of the library, the labs, etc. And all students pay this. That's why on every US university website, you see tuition and fees. The and fees are this, okay? Living is estimated, so I've just cited what are the estimated cost average for the room. And we do offer international students a scholarship of $5,000 for the year. Board, again, means the meal plans that you would choose, okay? So this gives you an idea of the cost that, that is necessary if you decided to study at Illinois Tech. I've listed the mandatory and other fees, which includes health insurance. UPass is the use of the local metro and bus unlimited, graduation application fees when you graduate, and student service and activity fee, as I said earlier, for the use of the labs, library, etc. New student is one-time fee only when you're a new student, and the activities that we organize for you. Please note that the scholarship, if you're eligible for a $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 scholarship for the year, that scholarship will be renewable for your subsequent years of study, provided you maintain full-time status. Full-time status means 12 credit hours per semester, and that your GPA, your grade point average, is a 3.25 and above. Okay, those are our requirements. So in order for your scholarship to be renewable. The next slide shows you some scholarship opportunities available at Illinois Tech. So the scholarship that I'd mentioned earlier, from 10 to 20,000, there is no separate scholarship application required. All international applicants will be automatically considered for those scholarships if they qualify. So you do not have to submit a separate application. However, if you want something like a full tuition scholarship, we have the Leadership Academy Scholarship, and usually the application is, well, deadline I think was early decision or November 15th. Okay, so if you submit your application by November 15th, the decisions will come around February, and you will know whether you qualified for the full tuition scholarship. It does not cover living expenses. So that's one of the scholarships we offer. There's also the Robot Olympiad Scholarship that we offer. So at Illinois Tech, say if you qualified for admission and you qualified for maybe a $20,000 scholarship, and then you also want to apply to the Leadership Academy Scholarship, you can only get one scholarship. So whichever is the highest, that will be the scholarship that will apply to you. Okay. I've given you that. Now, in terms of ranking, in the United States, the students, when they go to study, pursue a degree, they always look at the return on investment, ROI. If what I pay for my studies fetches me a job that will give me a higher salary, then the return on investment is good. So I looked at the pay scale. Pay scale is a website that ranks universities in the States based on what the annual salary of a student from that university would get when he or she starts, the mid-year salary, and so on. So among most of a huge number of universities in the States, Illinois Tech is ranked 90 for best universities for a bachelor's degree. And remember, I quoted average salary of 66,000. Over here, it says more like 70,300, early career, mid-career, 127,000. The website is here, so you can take a look at the website and delve into it further if you have questions. This pay scale is also an interesting website in that it tells you, for those of you thinking of a career in the United States and getting a job, what are the highest paying jobs with a bachelor's degree. And here are some of the fields of study that will fetch you a good salary. Aeronautical engineering, which Illinois Tech has, it's called aerospace. Computer engineering, Illinois Tech has. We do not have mechatronics, we don't have, but we have mechanical engineering and electronics, and you can combine the two. Then there's electrical engineering, we have that. We have aerospace engineering, quantitative business analysis. It comes under, it's under our Bachelor's of Business Administration. So this gives you an idea. Computation and applied maths, 75,500. So it gives you an idea of the salaries in the United States as well. So what are your opportunities upon graduation? As mentioned earlier, if you receive a bachelor's, master's, or PhD from any US university and have entered the US on an F1 student visa, optional practical training, you can work for 12 months with a possible extension for another 2 years if your field is STEM related. Or you can continue, if you love research, for a master's, PhD track. A US degree, unlike in other countries, is recognized worldwide. So again, there are some disadvantages like the finances and advantages like the degree is recognized worldwide, the possibility to work, lots of opportunities for research, and lots of flexibility in terms of choices of programs. Okay? For those of you who have already received a bachelor's degree and maybe want some upskilling to improve your professional competencies in your workplace or pursuing a master's degree, we have a non-degree certificate programs. And for partner schools, so if your school is a partner school with Illinois Tech, we offer you a 50% scholarship. A certificate program, you can comprises 3 or 4 courses, and you can complete it in a maximum of 1 year. And if your school is a partner school with Illinois Tech, you could complete the certificate program at a 50% discount. Here are a few examples of certificate programs. Again, this is for students who are currently at the master's level or PhD level, and bachelor students who have 1 semester left before graduating. Okay, so we have supply chain management, cybersecurity engineering, process operations management, and the list goes on. So there are quite a few possibilities for you. I've mentioned the application procedure. I won't go into that now because it's not the time for that. So simply put, if your school is a partner school, and if you want the certificate program, and if your school selects you, instead of paying 14,000 for a 9 credit hour certificate program, you would pay 7,400. Okay. Research at Illinois Tech, these are our institutes and research centers. We have many, as you can tell. And again, the choice is yours to determine if you want to do research at the master's and or PhD level. And all our bachelor students have to do research. So this is the end of my presentation. If you have questions or if I can play a YouTube rocket launch, let me know. But this is the end of my presentation. And I thank you for your attention. So I'm ready for questions.
Hi, Vannita. Thank you. Thank you so much. I do think that we have students in the audience that are currently applying, and they're applying for that early deadline of November 15th.
Yes.
So since it's a holiday this week, it's a good time for them to complete it. Can you give them some tips, or students that you're here, do you want to go ahead and ask any questions you have? Because this is the opportunity to ask questions.
Yes, please do.
Also for the graduate students that are on the call that are applying for the master's scholarship with Senacid, Illinois Tech is one of the universities that is currently available for you to apply to qualify for the Panama Canal and Senacid Master's scholarship. And that deadline is also next week. So that's why we're taking time to have Dr. Vannita here with us. So please make sure you ask questions. No tengan pena para hacer preguntas. Es el momento para hacer preguntas para los que están aplicando la licenciatura o las maestrías.
Yes, hi, hello.
Hello.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. It has been very interesting. As Ms. Gladys said, I am applying currently for the early action deadline of November 15. And for the essays, I read a little bit about the Elevate program, and I thought that was kind of interesting. Would you tell me more about that?
Yes, the Elevate program, we call it Elevate. Elevate allows you, we give you about a $5,000 scholarship for students when they're part of our community to use it in different ways. For example, if they want to study abroad for a semester, for a year, they can apply that $5,000 scholarship to study abroad for a semester, a year. They can use it to attend conferences for upskilling. They can use it for research work that they may do within the community. So it's everything is geared towards helping you create a career path for yourself and helping you to decide where you want to go, what track you want to take, and how you can develop it so that you can be more marketable. I don't like the term marketable, but you can be more attractive to companies when you graduate. So that's why we've got a high placement rate. 90.5% of our students who graduate find jobs when they graduate.
And like what sort of, because that sounds like a very powerful, very wide selection of options that you can do as a student. Can you like give me an example of like what the certain student has done in the past?
Okay, could I, Gladys, do you mind if we can go to the website, the Elevate website, or I can stop sharing this?
Oh, okay. Do you want me to try going from
Yes.
here?
Yeah, it may be easier for you, so I should stop the sharing.
Okay, can you put the link on the comment section so that
Yeah, sure, let me do that. You just to elevate the it.edu. Just to elevate Illinois Tech and you'll find it. I can try it, but I just don't want to.
That's okay.
Uh,
Should be able to do it. I'm gonna have to share screen now, so.
yeah. So I stop sharing my screen. Yeah. Okay, so you dismiss that.
Okay.
No, this is admissions. You just do elevate Illinois Tech. If you just go to
I think
elevate.
I did.
Yeah. You're just here. Yeah. Where you have admissions aid, just to elevate.
I thought I Googled it like that. Oh. Mm,
Yeah, elevate Illinois Tech. There you go.
yeah.
Okay, so student experience. So then you go to more and elevate, and then you will see all the student experience and the research. So you have here virtual internships also. That means we have some virtual internship offerings with a company in India called Global Shala. So you can participate in a virtual internship, and you get a 1,000 award for participating in this. So this tells you what are the tracks in digital marketing, entrepreneurship, data visualization, and so on. So during your semester, you can participate in this. Then in the next semester, you can decide to study abroad at any of our partner schools. You can also attend conferences if you go up. There's a research experience, research featured projects, student research, so you can do research. And student research will provide you with examples of some of our research initiatives. This one, the videotape, talks about the sleep apnea, the problem some people have in terms of when they fall asleep, they snore, or they have a tough time breathing. So there are all kinds of research that you can participate in as part of your studies. So it's very intensive, and it's up to you to determine, and you'll have a peer mentor or another student, a senior student, who will guide you and help you fork out your path or establish your path for your 4 years of study. Does that help in any way?
Adrian, does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Vannita, and they're allowed to do research even if they're just starting their undergrad?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. So I
Oh,
just
yeah.
want to. Okay. Do you have anybody has any other question?
Yes, I have a question. Hi, I was wondering if I am applying in regular decision deadline in January, so the only scholarship available would be the one maximum of 20,000?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
So they would need to apply now by November 15th?
Well, let me put it this way: the scholarship if you're applying at as a bachelor at the bachelor's level as a freshman or a transfer student, we have the partial merit scholarships that vary from 10,000 to 20,000 a year. So that you can apply, you can submit your application anytime as long as you submit it no later than April 15th for the fall semester. If you want those other special scholarships, they have their own special deadlines, but the general scholarships varying from 10 to 20,000. And if you want to come next August, the deadline is April 15th. If you want to come January, spring semester, the deadline was, you should have submitted the application. The sooner you submit the application, the better.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. I had a question. Let me see. I think there's some questions in the chat, but I'm not able to read them.
Okay, then you can stop the
Leo,
share.
can I stop the share? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. Leo, you have a question. Do you want to go ahead and ask it?
Okay. Hi.
Hello,
I
Liana.
was asking in the chat, like, if a student has previous academic experience, say math experience, for instance, which ways are there to save money and time skipping certain courses? And do there exist ways of finishing the degree in less time this way?
Oh, yes, that's a very good question. I think very, very good students, in my opinion, can complete their degree in 3 years rather than 4 years. Okay. Please note, one thing is important to note. When you pursue courses each semester, the cost is the same, whether you take 12 credit hours, because one course is 3 credit hours, so 12 credit hours means 4 courses. You can take 18, the average load is 18 credit hours. Very good students, if they want to take more courses, meaning 20, 21 credit hours, they have to get permission from their academic advisor. It has happened, it has been done. Students are able to do this and graduate in 3 years. So that's one. You minimize the number of years by taking more courses. The cost is the same, whether you take 12 credit hours or 20 credit hours. Number two, through the Elevate experience, if you decide, you can decide to study abroad as a visiting student. And some of our partner schools in Europe, for example, that offer courses in English, that can be transferred. The cost is quite low. instead of paying the 25,000, for example, it may be $3,000, 3,500, or maximum $5,000. So you can stay for a whole year and save money and get your courses transferred. Plus, you could use your Elevate scholarship of 5,000 for your living and your airfare, depending on where you go, to one of our partner schools in Europe. So that's the second way. Third way is if you qualify for admission, and which is your case, Leonardo, you've qualified for admission, and how can you avoid taking certain courses if you already have those competencies? We have what is called placement exams. So students, if they think they are very good in calculus and calculus-based physics, can take those placement exams and test out of them before arriving, so that you don't have to take those courses, and that minimizes, again, the time left for you to complete your bachelor's degree program. In terms of research, if you want to start research immediately, you do have to, the professors will have to make sure that you have certain prerequisites and certain background if you're interested in math before you start the research. And if you have that background, perfectly fine. The other alternative is to save money. And remember, I mentioned transfer students. So freshman students are students who complete the high school and then go as freshmen, meaning they're fresh to the university experience in their first year of studies to a university. Transfer students are those students who may have completed some of those relevant courses that you would have otherwise taken, for example, at Illinois Tech, like calculus and physics, at a lower cost at maybe, say, UTP in Panama, okay? And if you have a B grade, equivalent of a B grade or higher, you can transfer those courses to your program, so you will be considered as a transfer student and possibly have one semester less of courses to take. So those are the various possibilities for all of you.
That's great. It's great to have those options. Vannita, so for the AP test, just to complete that question, because it was a loaded question and a loaded answer, but I think this is the moment to ask.
Yes, we do accept AP credits in maths and physics and English, sort of, but mainly maths and physics. And if you're in the IB International Baccalaureate and you have 6s and 7s in the higher level subjects, we do transfer those courses, which means you won't have to repeat them. I should inform you that if you're going to any engineering or science field, at any US university, the first 2 years are pretty similar. That means the first year you'll be taking Calculus 1, Calculus 2, then you'll be taking a programming language course, maybe C++, then you need calculus-based physics, inorganic chemistry, and some social science and humanities courses. Those first 2 years in engineering and or sciences are pretty much the same. So there are students who know that they want science, maybe, or not sure if they want engineering, can apply as undecided majors. So undecided science major. Maybe they don't know if they want physics or chemistry or biology. Then they apply as undecided science major. If they know they want engineering, but do not know if it's going to be chemical, civil, mechanical, they can apply as undecided engineering majors. All of you who apply as undecided majors, that's not a problem. It doesn't go against you. This happens all the time. You have 2 years to decide what you really want to do. Whether you want, if you're in undecided engineering, then after 2 years, you can decide whether you want electrical, or you want aerospace or chemical, etc. Same with science. And you will not have wasted those first 2 years because, as I said, Those 2 years are pretty similar across the board for engineering and science students. And all students have to take some social science and humanities courses as well.
Okay, quedó claro. Francisco's asking, does Illinois Tech have any master degree in hydrology or meteorology?
No, we don't have a master's in hydrology nor in meteorology. We have environmental engineering, but not in hydrology or meteorology. No, we used to have geotechnical engineering, but we're no longer offering it because not very many students are interested in geotechnical engineering.
Francisco, if you're interested, are you interested for the Panama Canal application? Just email me separately and maybe I can help with other options.
Yes, sure.
Um,
The other question is, does Illinois Tech offer financial aid for international students? Please note that as an international student, it means that you do not have US citizenship, nor do you have a US green card. So if you do not have one or the other, you're considered an international student. International students don't merit financial aid because financial aid in the US term means federal, coming from the US government. So federal financial aid will only apply to US citizens and US green card holders. International students get scholarships. So what I mentioned are the scholarships that you would merit, but not federal financial aid. Now, if you have dual citizenship, so say you're a Panamanian citizen and the other citizenship is US citizenship, then definitely you would merit a US federal financial aid.
So Lucas, so the answer is there is financial support in form of scholarship.
Yes.
So, and those are the scholarships that Vannita mentioned. So continue to apply early is the best way to guarantee to get those scholarships. ¿Sí? Así que son becas, no es necesariamente financial aid, porque financial aid es como ayuda financiera que se puede percibir como ayuda del gobierno federal de los Estados Unidos, pero sí hay ayuda.
One student asked if we apply before November 15, are we automatically considered for the leadership scholarship? No, that's a separate scholarship application. So you have to submit that separate scholarship application. I provided the picture, the screen capture, so you have to submit that application. Are there any programs related to robotics? Yes, are you a bachelor's or master level student? Done.
You can put your microphone, undergrad.
Yeah, we have a computer science and we have robotics, and you'll have to go to the computer science department to look at the programs at the bachelor's level. Another student asked about accelerated masters in some undergraduate programs. What we mean by accelerated masters is more what we call co-terminal. Co-terminal is students can complete a bachelor's and a master's in 5 years. And they would get 2 degrees, a bachelor's, master's degree at the end of their 5th year. So that is what we mean by accelerated masters. You're accelerating the process. Instead of taking 4 years for a bachelor's and 2 years for a master's, you can complete both in 5 years.
And those are in certain subjects, right?
Yes, it's called co-terminal.
So Kathleen, you can research for those and see if what the subjects are for those.
So Kathleen said, does the tuition increase with that option? No, because if you apply, that's the good thing about the co-terminal, CO-terminal, co-terminal program, you would get, a scholarship from 10 to 20,000 that we offer, depending if which scholarship you qualify for, and that scholarship will be the same, and the cost is the undergraduate cost will apply for your subsequent years of study, even when you continue for the master's. So there's no extra cost. Well, if the cost increases each year, then of course there's a little extra cost, but it doesn't change. The scholarship will still apply for all of your 5 years of study, if you maintain full-time status and a GPA of 3.25 and above. Welcome.
Vannita, they're not asking, but I know I had some students ask, do you have special scholarship for girls in STEM?
We have, not that I've seen on our website, I haven't seen that. We do have a WISER program, Women in Science and Engineering, but I've not seen any special scholarship for that.
Okay. They're asking if Illinois Tech has offers in
Psychology, yes, of course.
Well, you-
I've got my PhD from Illinois Tech in industrial organizational psychology. So we have psychology, definitely. We have a school of psychology.
Is there
And-
any way to apply before, oh, sorry, before November 15th without the TOEFL, or is that impossible?
No, you can apply, but if, since we require proof of English language, what will happen, and if we don't have that, your application will remain in pending status, which means we cannot make a decision till we receive your transcripts, your essays, and your test score.
Do you accept Duolingo, Vannita?
Yes, we do, 110 or higher.
Okay, so that could be an option also. We have an issue here. We're testing sites where we didn't have enough dates to do the TOEFL. So Duolingo could be an option.
Yes. And when you take the Duolingo, make sure to request for Duolingo to send your official score directly to Illinois Institute of Technology.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, and same thing with if you decide to take the TOEFL, we accept the TOEFL IBT. You need a score of 90. And when you register for the TOEFL, make sure to request for your score to be sent, official score to be sent to Illinois Tech. Our institution code is 1318. And if you decide to take the IELTS, you need a score of 6.5. And you should request for the electronic upload delivery service so that we can receive your official score electronically. All the scores are valid for 2 years.
Thank you.
And we do not accept the home edition of the TOEFL. We do not accept the home edition of the IELTS.
Okay, that's good to know. Nikeshi had a question. Is the Robot Olympiad Scholarship a full scholarship?
No, it's a partial scholarship.
The website is the Illinois Tech website, right?
Yes. I provided it on my presentation, which I can send to you.
I mean, there's not an additional website. Is that's the website, and then to apply, you have to use the Common App.
Yes.
And we have a resource saved in our link tree in Education USA. There's a video of a webinar that we did with NYU Abu Dhabi that has instructions pretty much on how to complete the Common App in case you have questions. We had a hybrid event where we did a workshop. Some of you were there. I recognize some of your names. But that's recorded in the profile of Education USA in the Instagram. So it's important for you to make sure you review it and you can complete your Common App. Adrian, you have another question. Good.
Yes, so I pulled up the site of Illinois Tech and began to read a little bit more about the Lila Self-Leadership Scholarship. And it says here that students who are selected as finalists will be required to participate in an interview on campus. I want to ask, what alternative might a student for whom, what alternatives are there for a student from another country for whom it might be like a financial burden to travel to United States for this.
Yeah, it's likely to be a virtual interview rather than coming on campus in that case.
Like that's is that a thing that is an alternative that is often provided for students internationally, or would that be like an exception?
It wouldn't be an exception because we've granted international students the scholarship. For example, where we granted the international student scholarship, but they were one semester already at Illinois Tech. It wouldn't be an exception because with COVID, we're quite used to doing interviews virtually. So that would be it. But I will just to be on the safe side, I will re-verify with the Leadership Academy about that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's a good question. I think after the pandemic, a lot of things that used to be in
Yes,
person have switched to virtual, and thank God they've stayed.
yes. Yes.
Um,
And then the
I
fact
guess-
that a student is applying for a full tuition scholarship, it's understood that the student is unlikely to have, we can't expect the student to spend extra money just to fly for an interview. The student's applying for full tuition scholarship.
Exactly. Leo, you have another question. You want to ask it?
Oh, yeah. It was about the accelerated master's program, and I was wondering if the Leadership Academy scholarship also covered the tuition from the last year, because, well, the accelerated master's program takes one extra year respect to
Mhm.
a normal bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
So my question is if the Leadership Academy scholarship also covers the tuition costs of the last year.
Yeah, this is another question I will have to verify because I don't know that if they have done this with the co-terminal accelerated program. So I will need to ask them that question for those on the co-terminal program. Okay, I'm making my notes here, so I'll have to ask them. Okay.
Okay, good question.
I have, oh,
Go.
I have one last one. If I were to do 2 years in Panama and then transfer out, are there scholarships available for that?
Yes.
Like the
we call
first
them
year?
Sorry. Yeah, we call them, you would be considered as a transfer student because you'll have done at least 2 years at a university. You'd be considered a transfer student, and the scholarships again vary from $10,000 to $20,000 a year. And there's
And being
no
international
special-
doesn't affect the transfer, like
no.
identity, I guess. What?
As long as what are the factors that are important? The fact that you're deciding to pursue at least the first 2 years at a university in Panama is to get the experience, of course, and then to try and take courses at a lower cost that could be transferred to your program, say, for example, at Illinois Tech. Now, if what field of study are you interested in?
Computer science or computer engineering.
All right. So if you go to the Department of Computer Science, it's www.it.edu/computer-science. Click on programs and then click on undergraduate, bachelor's programs and undergraduate. You'll find the list of programs. There'll be an arrow on the right. Click on the arrow and it'll give you the program requirements and then curriculum. That's important. When you click on curriculum, you'll see all the courses that are completed in the first 2 years of study. And if you click on each course, it will provide you a brief description of the course. So my suggestion to you is If you want to save money and time, try to take those courses that are covered in the first 2 years of study at Illinois Tech, at a university here in your country. Make sure you have a B average or better, the equivalent. And usually calculus does not differ from one country to another, it's the same. Calculus-based physics is the same from one country to another. The only difference would be maybe the social sciences and humanities courses. But if you take, and then programming, C++ is the same everywhere. So if you take those courses, then you're likely to get transfer credit for those.
Vannita, they can do them at UTP
Yes,
and transfer?
yes.
Doesn't happen to be a US institution in Panama.
No. We receive transfer students all the time from all over the world.
And they can still be, this is interesting. So they can still be eligible for scholarships, even as transfer international students, because I think we've heard from other universities that they can't. And I think that's why they're asking it. Right, Danny?
Yes, you'll be eligible for a
Yes.
$20,000 scholarship, and there is no special scholarship applicant. So, for example, you've completed, say, even 1 year of courses at UTP in calculus. You've taken the relevant courses that we usually cover in the first year of studies, and you want to transfer the second year, you'll be considered as a transfer student, and you'll be eligible for any of the $10,000 to $20,000 scholarship without needing to submit a separate application.
Okay, that's great.
And the deadline
So,
would be,
sorry.
the general deadline, if you want to restart in August. So the absolute deadline would be April 15th of next year if you want to come next year, or if you want to come the following year in August 2024, it would be April 15, 2024. And similarly, if you want to come in spring, January, we start early January, so the deadline is November 1st, they say November 15th at the very latest, so it would be the same for the following year.
So it doesn't matter if you've taken the courses in Spanish. If it's a science course, then it's just transferable immediately.
Yes, yeah. Because you can take it in any language. That's why we require proof of English proficiency, because remember, we receive international students from more than 80 different countries where the first language is not English.
This is great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else has any questions? I
Yes.
haven't heard.
I
Okay.
have a question.
Good. Then
I'm interested in a master's program,
Yes.
either in physics or engineering.
Mhm.
So I would like to know the deadline for the application in
It's
those
the same.
programs.
It's the same.
15. Okay.
Yes. So when are you thinking of coming? I mean, not coming. When are you thinking, when do you want to start?
It would be next year because I'm finishing my thesis. So I'm getting my diploma next year. So I would like to know when it will open again, so I can try for the next deadline.
Yeah, so if you finish your degree, is it a bachelor's degree or another master's degree?
No, bachelor's.
Bachelor. So if you finish your bachelor's degree by June, for example, of next year, and you want to continue for a master's in physics, we have a master's in applied physics, we have a master's in health physics, you can apply by April 15th of next year for a master's degree program.
Can I apply in an engineering or
Yes. Yes.
computer science,
You
having
can
a
choose,
physics degree?
you can choose any master's you wish,
Okay,
as long as we
so
offer it.
those master plans are 2 years or 5-year programs?
Okay,
How much
that's
is that?
sorry, that's a good point you raise. In the United States, master degree programs are either 1 year or 2 years in duration. What's the difference? The courses in both are usually the same. The difference is the thesis, master's thesis. Usually the master's thesis, which is a big research project, requires at least a year to complete, okay, after taking the requisite courses. So that's why masters that are 2 years have a master's with thesis. Masters that are 1 year are referred to as MEng, Master of Engineering, or MAS. And these are professional masters which do not require thesis. It can be course-only masters. You can add a research project if you wish, but you can finish the course-only masters in 9 months if you add a research project in 12 months. So the masters, we call them professional masters, the 1 year masters. They are primarily for students who wish to find a job in a company in the United States and get experience. And those who want the 2 year masters they usually like research and want to continue for a PhD. In most cases, sometimes students will pursue the 1 year masters with a research project and then find they really love the research, and then they can continue for a PhD if they wish. There's some differences with some fields of study. For example, at Illinois Tech with the computer science masters, we have an MCS, Master of Computer Science, which is more applied and you can complete in 1 year. And then we have the Masters of Science in Computer Science, which gears you towards a PhD program. So in computer science, if you want research and further studies, it's better to apply for the Masters of Science in Computer Science.
That's great. I have a question about that, Vannita. So for graduate school, do you require the GRE?
Oh, the good news is that for any fall 2023 applicant, we are not requiring the GRE for the master's degree programs. That's the good news.
Okay, okay. But if they happen to have done it, does it
That's
help
fine.
if it's a good school?
Well, we cannot decide because if one student has completed it and another hasn't completed it, we cannot weigh that in our decision.
Okay, okay. And what
Yeah.
about SAT?
And we are SAT optional.
Okay, so if they've done it and they feel good about it, definitely share it with you.
Definitely.
If they're like, I didn't like it and I have to pay again or do it again.
Yeah, then don't bother. Yes.
And you're staying SAT optional then.
Yes, we're saying SAT optional. Yes.
Okay.
But if
Yeah,
they
can
want
I-
a special scholarship, sorry, if they want the special scholarships at the bachelor's level, like the Leadership Academy and those other robotics, it's a good idea to have a good SAT score.
Sí, entonces esto es importante. O sea, no se lo requieren, pero si tienen uno bueno, tienen más oportunidades de ganarse la beca. Entonces, sí, así que yo creo que si pueden y hacerlo, mejor. Now, if they start at UTP and they transfer, then they would not look at SAT scores, or if they have a SAT.
No.
If you're
For transfer students, SAT is not required.
okay. But for first year, then it's not required, but
It's
it does
optional,
help
but-
for scholarships. But it helps for scholarships. Ana Lucia is asking, do you super score SATs? What does that mean?
I don't know what it means, super score, SAT.
Ana Lucia, do you want to ask?
Take the best.
I can
score?
explain. I just
Yeah.
looked it up. It says it's the. I was confused too. It says it's the sum of the highest math and reading and writing scores. So it's
Oh.
basically the average of the highest one that you get of different things.
I know we don't do that. We don't super score. Same thing for the TOEFL or the IELTS. When if you've taken it again, we don't take the best score in each section. We just take the latest score.
Okay. Ana Lucia, does that answer your question?
Oh, sorry.
Go.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I have another one. If I take the TOEFL on November 12th this
Yeah.
year, if I were to transfer, would I need to take it again?
It's valid for 2 years. So if you were to transfer, you should calculate the timing. So say if you take it November 12th, you should apply, submit your application and have it completed before November 12th, 2 years from now. Get
Or do the Duolingo.
it? Yeah, but to save time and money, you want to submit the application before your 2-year limit has expired.
Okay. Javier, you're asking about a specific career in Illinois Tech related to aviation mechanics. Aviation mechanics.
We don't have aviation mechanics. We don't train pilots either. We have aerospace engineering, but not aviation mechanics.
Javier, we might have some options for you for other schools. So again, you can email me separately for that. Talking about standardized tests, TOEFL, SAT, we're working to renew our virtual English language fellow. So stay tuned for that. I know you're in the process of applying right now, but for those of you that are still graduating, that are planning to apply later in the spring, we usually have those resources available to you at Education USA PTY. And if you need us to review your essays, feel free to also reach out to review. We don't help write essays, they're your essays. But that's why we're here at Education USA to help you with that. So any other questions regarding graduate school? Take advantage that the Senacid Panama Canal Scholarship includes Illinois Tech, and it's a full scholarship for graduate school. So those of you thinking about graduate school, it's important for you to also look at the Senacid deadlines and the Senacid requirements early, and also the embassy. The embassy has Fulbright and other graduate school scholarships. So look at those deadlines with time. The requirements don't change much year after year, but it's important for you to apply early. For those of you interested in health-related technology, health engineering, and different health-related careers, there might be other scholarships available related to those. So please follow the Senacid website for more information. Website under Instagram and social media.
I'd like to add, for those of you, how many of you, it's hard to know, are interested in a master's degree program at Illinois Tech? If you're interested, please let Gladys know so that at least she can send me your names, and then I know exactly and what you're interested in. And then I can tell you exactly what we offer and what the options are. I think that's important for you to know.
That's true. Any other question? ¿Alguna otra pregunta? We're close. We're right on time. We said we start at 5 and we added 6:30, and we're right on time. Kathleen, what was your question? You want to ask in the microphone? You asked about the accelerated master's program. Oh, I'm sorry. She did have a separate question. Do you want to ask it? Kathleen's from Chiriquí.
Sure.
Kathleen, yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Sorry. There was some noises in my house, but I was gonna ask. In the accelerated master program, I was wondering. Let's say that it takes 5 years to gain my bachelor's degree and also my master's degree. I was wondering, could I make like 4 years online and last year, the 5th year, could I transfer? Is that possible?
4 years online. Um, we haven't done that at all. Most students usually want to spend some time in person for in-person classes. Doing 4 years
Sure.
online would be a little, I think, be stretching it. I don't think we would permit it, because even from the point of view of immigration, visas, every university has to state that they're offering at least one course hybrid. That means partially online, partially in person. So from an immigration standpoint, it will not be possible.
So I guess the question, let me try to ask, because I know that with the pandemic, the financial situation of many families here changed. So Vannita, what do you think is the most that they could do online, or would you recommend them to maybe take one class while they do UTP, or?
Okay, they're talking two different levels.
Yes.
For those of you who are approaching almost graduating with a bachelor's degree, say you just have one semester left for maybe a project course, my suggestion is apply for the certificate program online, because the certificate programs are entirely online, master's level. And we could offer it at a 50% scholarship. So you don't have to pay for living expenses, you don't have to pay for visa, you don't have to pay for your flight. So the certificate course you can complete, it's 3, maximum 4 courses. You can complete them in 1 year maximum. You have the skill. So if you want to look for a job in Panama, you at least can say, I've got a certificate from a US university, and that will hold some water. Then if you decide that you may want to continue for a master's, maybe online and partially in person, some of those certificate courses would apply to your master degree program. And in some cases, all. So if you've taken 3 certificate courses, all those 3 certificate courses could apply to a specific master's degree program. And you can complete the master's degree in 1 year or less than 1 year. Okay. So that would be a good path to save money. And remember, the certificate courses are master's level courses, all offered online. Some are offered in hybrid. You can choose, but you're not required to come for in-person for certificate course, and you will save money. Plus you get some competencies, you upskill.
Is there a way, Vannita, if they do that? Because we've been in the pandemic in Panama, as you know, the lockdown was very harsh and severe.
Yes, yes.
So I would hate for them to have to do almost 100% of the program online. If they do that certificate option, is there an option to maybe do an internship or some hands-on, or there's really?
Some of the certificate courses are hybrid, so partially online, partially in person. Some of the certificate courses are online, asynchronous or synchronous. So it's up to the student to choose. He or she can come to take one course in person, depending on the cost. Because again, we have to weigh cost and efficiency and and learning outcomes. So it's really up to you. So that's one shortcut to save costs. Number 2, if you want to graduate earlier with a bachelor's degree rather than spend 4 years, you should take some courses at UTP, for example, if you're interested in engineering science. And those courses, if you get a good grade and if they're similar in content and number of hours, you can transfer them. So it will reduce your time in the US, and it will save you some money. Number 3, so that's undergraduate level. For those seeking a master's, for the accelerated masters, some students tell me they join the core terminal program, but then they drop off, some of them, because they don't get their bachelor's degree till they've completed their master's degree, the 5th year. And some of them may be interested in working. So they stop the co-terminal and just decide to get the bachelor's degree to work. So be mindful of that with the co-terminal program. Okay. Again, you mentioned, can you take all the 4 years online? The visa restricts it, doesn't allow it. You have to take at least one course in hybrid format, which means you have to be in the US in person for at least one course per semester in hybrid format. So that would not be possible.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And thank you for asking those questions too.
Yeah, a good question.
Son buenas preguntas. Gracias, Carmen. ¿Alguien más tiene alguna pregunta de licenciatura, de maestría? Les voy a poner mi email personal aquí. No solo compartirlo, pero lo voy a hacer con ustedes. Si tienen cualquier otra pregunta, la pueden hacer aquí. Y ya, yo creo que con eso concluimos. Sigan haciendo la aplicación, métanse en las grabaciones que ya tenemos acerca de cómo aplicar al Common App. Asegúrense que sigan los consejos que dijo Vannita hoy. Thank you so much, Vannita, for your time.
Welcome.
I know it's already next day. You're in Europe, and thank you for taking the time to connect.
Thank you for organizing this, and thank you, students.
And you see, we have some wonderful students that are thirsty for knowledge, and they want to, and nationwide. So thank you, everybody, for connecting, and keep looking for us for resources, and keep doing your research. And if you don't make it for undergrad, then for grad school. But the important thing is that you keep developing yourself, and that you take the opportunity to study outside and come back. But make sure you're very careful of the deadlines. I want to make sure you're very careful of the deadlines as they're fast approaching. Take advantage of the Senasid scholarships. They're very generous. And anyway, so we'll stay in tune. Thank you so much, Vannita, again for your time. Thank you to all to participate. Enjoy your holidays. And
thank you, students. If you have questions, we're here to answer them. And if I don't have the answer, I will make sure to find out the answer and let you know. So please get in touch with Gladys, especially for the master level students who also are thinking of applying to Illinois Tech, so that I know your names, because then I can waive the application fee, because there's an application fee when you apply of $100. So I can waive the application fee if I know that you've gone through Gladys and you're interested in applying to Illinois Tech at the master's level. For undergraduate students, a Common App, there's no application fee. So you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, wow, that's great. See, you got a bonus for those of you that stay to the end. Así que ya saben, no hay fee de aplicación, así que no tienen nada que perder. Hagamos la mejor aplicación posible. Muchísimas gracias, Vannita. Thank you so much. Merci.
Welcome. Gracias, muchas gracias. Todos.
Bye, que estén bien. Sigan construyendo su futuro. Gracias.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah, Adrián.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.